Are you struggling with your die cut images? Join me because I've got 5 tips to share with you today. So this is a huge die. It's 6.5 inches tall, and I want to make him fit on an A2 card. So this is the Dancing Nutcracker Fritz from Spellbinders, and there are a ton of dies in here. Some of them are quite small, so I keep a magnetic sheet on a dish, and as I'm creating, I can put all my dies there, and then I'm not going to lose any, cross fingers. And my first tip today is to pre-plan. When you've got so many dies and there are going to be a lot of different colors when you're creating an image such as this, then if you pre-plan the colors that you're going to use, then you are going to save so much time because you can do multiple die cutting at once. And when I say that, I don't even mean die cutting multiple dies at once. I mean die cutting multiple colors, because our plates on our die cutting machines, they're quite large, so don't waste the real estate. I would recommend using some low-tack tape though to hold your die cuts or your dies in place before you do your die cutting, because you do not want them to shift and overlap. When you've got so many dies together, this can happen. To get the best cut, it does pay to look at the paper that you're using. Sometimes I find the thinner cardstocks actually cut better and you can get better impressions. And what I mean by that is that there are some debossing elements in these dies as well, which add a little bit of extra dimension and texture. And I find myself that my manual die cutting machine gives much better results when it comes to adding that. To be honest, I think my electric die cutting machine is just too strong. It puts too much pressure and it actually squishes out the debossing. I'll also keep all my colors of die cut cardstock together, which makes it much easier. And I will cut extras, because if I'm going to make one, I might as well make 2, or I can keep them aside in the packet in a Ziploc bag ready to go for next time to save me some time, especially when there's so many elements in one image. If I am using a thinner cardstock, what I like to do is add some extra cardstock behind it. So you might notice here I'm using some design paper. This is glittery, non-glittery. When I say that, there's actually no glitter on this cardstock. It just looks glittery. So if you are a bit of a glitter phobe, then this is perfect for you, because you can get the sparkle without having the stress of having glitter around after. All glues are not created equal. When I'm doing intricate die cutting assembly like this, I find a very fine tip on a liquid glue is going to give me the best results. If I accidentally add too much glue, I can tap it aside on a piece of scrap cardstock off to the side before I adhere it to my image. The other thing I will do is actually use the edges of my tweezers to scrape away any extra glue that sticks out from the side. Finding like a matte finish glue, something that's not going to leave traces of shine if it does happen to come out the edges of the die cuts, makes a difference, especially if you've got plain colored die cuts. And my next tip is to use your tools to help you. I like to use a non-slip grip mat. There are a stack of these available from many different companies, and this helps to hold the smaller pieces in place when you're assembling and also when you're coloring them. So fine tip tweezers are also a game changer because they can stop sticky fingers. You're not trying to hold really small intricate die cuts and adding glue. And if you struggle to hold on to tweezers, then maybe the reverse grip ones might suit you better. Or another great tool that has a wax end on it is like a picker tool, and the wax end will pick up very small pieces of cardstock and help you align them in the exact spot that you want. And these dies, they're quite intuitive. Like the tiny pieces are all often on the same die that need to be cut in the same color. They also have impressions on them so that you know where to line things up. If you can see on this face here, it tells me where the eyebrows, the mustache, and the nose and cheeks of the face need to be. And that just makes things so much easier. Which brings me to my next tip is you do not need to have every colour of cardstock. You can create your own coloured cardstock like I'm doing here. I'm using alcohol markers. I like them because they dry quick. There's a ton of colours to choose from and they're quick and easy to use. The other thing you can do is dye some cardstock with a dye ink. So get some white cardstock and do a swipe of your coloured ink over top, but I would wait for it to dry before you die cut it. And it's the same with Copics. I wait for it to dry before I start adding the pieces. I do like to build up my images if I need to, and that adds some stability. It also allows me to reinsert the small intricate pieces if I need to. This liquid glue does hold very strongly, so I feel very comfortable knowing that it should not fall apart even though there are so many small pieces. Everything's assembled now. And then there's the swinging pants, which we'll get to shortly. So I've added some black cardstock to the front of a side fold A2 card, finished size 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And for some subtle interest, I've also run this stitched winter swirl backdrop die to the front as well. It gives some interest to the card without adding any bulk, because when you've got an interactive card, if I used something that was adding bulk to the layers, then the interactive portion of the card might not work. So these pants are a little bit wide for where I want the legs of the man to be, the nutcracker. Now to work out where I want to put my nutcracker on the card, I'm just holding my elements in place. There is a circle on the pants and I'm putting a mark at the very top of that, because that's where, when the card's standing up, that's where I need the top of the foam dot to sit. And now I'm just doing a bit of surgery. It's as simple as cutting down the pants here before I adhere the boots on top. That's going to mean that I don't have the white edges of those pants showing. But if you are someone who loves a large card or a slimline card, then this is perfect for you, because it's going to fit perfectly on a 7-inch high card. If you like a 5x7 card, I reckon you could nearly get 3 of these together. And I use some nice thick foam dots to add the interactive legs to, and also to the back of the nutcracker. But if you don't have a thick foam dots like this, then you can layer them up. Just make sure to deactivate any stick that might be on the outside with some powder tool. And like I said before, make sure that the sentiment or any other elements that you add to the card are out of the way of the interactive portion. And for more details about these top tips, head to the link in the description below. Also, let me know in the comments if you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, click on the thumbs up button to let me know, and subscribe if you haven't already. What are you waiting for? It's totally free. I've linked 2 more die cutting videos here for you to enjoy. I look forward to seeing you there. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.